Hello, Transurfer, and welcome to Transurfing TV. My name is Renee Garcia. I'm going to sing this entire lesson. Just kidding. Oh my god, could you imagine? Okay, today I'm going to be talking about stereotypes and why they're actually really awesome. I know. Oh my god, what is she going to talk about? I'm actually pulling some of what I'm going to be talking about today from this book, Influence. It's really cool, and it's an older book. It was written back in the 80s, and I see a lot of very Transurfy kind of parallels going on with what this guy's talking about, and obviously the Transurfing concepts, right? The reason I'm talking about this today is because with our current political and social climate, there are lots and lots and lots of reasons that our society is telling us that we need to feel guilty, right? Especially white people. And I know that I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers here, but you know, there's always something in society that we are going to, guilt is always prevalent. If you look back on, let's just say the last few hundred years, there has always been something major that some sort of big pendulum has put out that somebody needs to feel guilty for some reason, right? I mean, if you look at like Victorian times, we just went through the Alice in Wonderland story. If you look back on Victorian times, it was the whole like, feel guilty about sexuality, and women need to keep themselves covered, and you can't be immoral, you know, and there's all these, and then it changes, the times change. Now it's like, you know, we've got a lot of like racial sort of guilt about the environment. There's always some reason that we all, or a specific group of people, are being pushed to feel guilty over, right? So remember what Vadim says. Oh, before I get started, remember to like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me to enter my daily giveaway for my stickers and Reality 2.0 teachable course down below. So Vadim says to us that if we project that we're guilty, we're going to have lots more reasons to feel guilty, right? We're going to highlight that sector of reality where we are going to feel guilty, and with more reasons to feel guilty. And all those reasons will just continue to show up exponentially, and we'll get more and more guilty, we'll feel more and more inferior. And then of course our mirror responds to us in a not so fun way, right? With more of the same, and it just continues to spiral downward. So with everything that's going on with the whole, you know, racial inequality, I'm not denying that it exists. I understand it exists, but as an individual, you have a choice to feel guilty or to not feel guilty. So I know that I've never done anything to anybody, and I'm not a racist person. I'm pretty equal in all areas of how, you know, I perceive reality. I'm not a polarized person, and I'm not a racist. And I understand with clarity why stereotypes exist. So stereotypes are actually a really, really positive thing, because if we didn't have this natural mechanism in our minds kicking in at certain times, we probably wouldn't exist as human beings. So let me give an example. Let's say, you know, you go back a few million years, we're cave people, and you're walking through, it's like funny to think of you as a cave person, you're walking through the forest, right? And you see a tree with some berries on it, okay? And that tree with those red berries, you're hungry, looks pretty tasty. But then your fellow cave person just ate some similar looking berries and he died, right? So your thing kicks in to your mind, your ability to stereotype. Okay, so I'm going to start pitching it now as a positive. Your ability to stereotype kicks in, and you recall your friend dying from eating similar looking berries, and you make a judgment call based on some information that you've already encountered. This way you don't have to go through the entire process to see if you are going to have the same outcome as cave dude that just died, right? So this helps us, this has helped us to evolve as a species. If we didn't have this ability, we wouldn't be here, because we would have essentially, let's say even a more imminent threat like a predator. Okay, so let's say as a cave person, the cave person never encountered a predator, but knew that predators existed because of something, instinctual drive, let's just say, right? So, or instinctual inclination. So let's say you encounter a predator and your brain goes, wait a second, this isn't good. You're not gonna stand there trying to analyze the situation, trying to figure out exactly what is going on. You are gonna simply run off of a stereotype that's probably going to keep you alive. So, stereotypes are prevalent in most human actions. This is you stepping off of a curb to cross the street and then you see a car coming by. You are stereotyping the situation that speed, you're judging that speed of the car is going so quick that you're not going to be able to make it across the road in time, so you step back. That's a stereotype. Rather than you stepping out, looking, and then trying to assess, and obviously by that time it might be too late if the car is going to hit you or not. So it is the most efficient form of human behavior. It is our ability to make calls super fast on the spot, because in this increasingly overly stimulating environment where there is lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff, we simply would not have the time or the energy to sit there and compute exactly what's going on. We can make a call and we can move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. Now, so it's the most efficient form of human behavior. In some cases, it's simply necessary. You have to take action based on a stereotype. So if I'm coming out of a building late at night and my car is the only one parked in the parking lot, and I'm walking towards my car and I see a dude standing somewhere, you know, kind of like waiting for me, my stereotyping ability is going to kick in and say, hey, you know what? Maybe you go back in the building and have security walk you out to the car. Rather than walking up to get a closer look, assessing the situation, computing, trying to figure out what the hell's going on, overanalyzing, and then obviously it might be too late, right? This is kind of like survival of the fittest sort of stuff. The better the ability to on the spot make a judgment call based on a stereotype, the better you are going to be functioning in your reality. So again, we live in an unbelievably complex environment. To deal with this environment, we need shortcuts. There's not enough time, energy, or capacity to analyze everything. There just isn't. Now, here is the part that is detrimental to our society, is sometimes our stereotyping ability is faulty, right? We must accept the imperfections, because without them, again, we would be standing there frozen, cataloging, appraising, calibrating, computing, trying to analyze, trying to figure out what is going on exactly. But here's where I'm going to wrap it all up. Do not feel guilty if you are finding yourself stereotyping a person. Now, I'm not saying to do it. I'm just saying understand where it comes from exactly. It's not okay if you act from that stereotype. So if you say, oh, all people of this color are bad, right? And then you act out of that stereotype. That's absolutely not okay. And Vadim Zeland says it in the book, pretty much anything goes as long as you're not hurting another person. So if you find yourself stereotyping in your mind and you then kick in via guilt, oh my God, I shouldn't think like that. You know, why do I think like that? I'm not a racist. I shouldn't be thinking like that, right? It is natural. At some point, you gain some sort of information via your environment. Maybe it could even have just been something you saw on TV and it stayed in your brain and your brain's sort of malfunctioning a little bit, right? It's malfunctioning a little bit. This ability to compute the situation is faulty. But accepting the imperfections of the thing, of the system, of the ability, and simply allowing yourself to be a human, right? Not feeling guilt over it, but absolutely not acting out of it, and start to understand more of where these things are coming from. So we all do this. We all have stereotypes, right? Nobody, I don't care what anybody says, nobody is free of stereotyping people. And this is where it's kind of funny because one group's pointing to another group saying, hey, you're stereotyping us. But you know what? I guarantee that group's stereotyping somebody else. And everybody, it's just a human way of dealing with reality, society, or environment. But understanding where it comes from, being able to look at that mechanism objectively, not to act from it, but absolutely not to feel guilt from it either, ever, 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 because remember the mirror. So I hope this was not too inflammatory. I know talking about these things can be a little bit touchy because people are touchy, but you know what? We're human beings and we're doing human things. And we need to accept our imperfections a little bit more and start breaking down, okay, where does this stuff come from exactly, right? Yes, white chickens will peck to death a chicken of another color when it comes into the thing because the mind of the chicken is programmed where it's viewing that as a predator because it looks different, period. Animals do it, humans do it. It's not something that the chicken's not like thinking, right? This is just something that's happening. Us as human beings, we have the ability to rationalize a little bit more. We can think about this stuff. Chickens can't, right? But just try to look at if you are stereotyping objectively, don't feel guilt, don't act from it, and sort of, you know, start to make friends with that human part of you. So let me know what your thoughts are. Remember to like this video and comment below. My world is taking care of me. And thank you so much for watching my video. Bye guys.